We have another about face from a Trump ally turned critic. Harsh critic, very harsh. Really? Bill Barr, despite previously warning that a second Trump term would be, quote, chaos.
Chaos.
And, let me just say this correctly, a horror show. Now says he plans to vote for Donald Trump in November.
What?
So I think it's my duty to pick the person I think would do the least harm to the country. And in my mind, that's I will vote the Republican ticket.
You will.
I will support the Republican ticket. He's already saying it's going to be about retribution. And he's a very petty man. He has a very fragile ego, and something happened to him as a kid, and I'm not going to spend time psychoanalyzing it. But Trump may be playing Russian roulette, but continuation of the Biden administration is national suicide, in my opinion.
Barr knows this guy can't be president again.
Bill Barr knows all of this, and he's decided it's a binary choice because in his world, in order to stay relevant and viable, he has to put party over country. I mean, literally, when he uses the phrase Russian roulette, when he uses the term Russian roulette, he knows the danger he poses. He doesn't have to do this. You are not required to look at Donald Trump and say, okay, because I don't like student loan forgiveness, I'm going to put a man who is clearly unhinged, who clearly, tried to overthrow the government, called for terminating the Constitution. In fact, we could spend the next 10 minutes just walking through all of the things. Somebody who has been found liable for rape, put them back in the Oval Office.
He has been successful, whether you like him or not, in his own right. He could have just walked off in the sunset and made hundreds of thousands of dollars, speeches, showing up at events. Why is it so important that he hold his wealth and privilege secure by kissing Donald Trump's ass when he knows he's enabling a potential future dictator?
So this is what I think, that when Republicans go home at night, they get on their knees and they pray to God that Donald Trump loses.
Yes.
And they do that because they are so afraid of the rabid base that he has, that they fear for themselves and their families. And so when they feel like he's winning, they retreat. And so until someone finally has a spine in the backbone like Liz Cheney and Aaron Kissinger to say that the power isn't as important to me as living in a country that's a democratic country. But for these guys, they somehow think they're above it all. They somehow think that it's not going to matter if he happens to get in office. But believe me when I tell you, for critical thinking, smart people, they get on their knees at night. They're probably bloody by now.
It's incredible. Mitt Romney speaks out against it, but he's not running again, right? So anybody who's not running all of a sudden speaks out, and they're all of a sudden brave and have courage. But
Sununu's not running.
You don't know what he has for future plans, right? Who knows what his future plans are? Politics is, I always say this two-party system is broken. Everyone there cares about, on the Republican side, they care more about keeping their power, keeping the money rolling. And unfortunately, the one thing they do well that Democrats don't do, they fall in line. Look at Ted Cruz. Look how flipped during Ted Cruz. He attacked his wife. He said his father was the one who killed Kennedy, and Ted Cruz all of a sudden reversed too. And I looked
not only that, Ted Cruz dumped on his own family. He said his daughters were the reason he left Texas during the freeze to go to Cancun. So he's even willing to trash his own family for power and to stay in the good graces of dictator Trump.
Yeah, you're 100% right. In the background, we hear all these people discuss, and you hear the conversations from other outgoing legislatures, that they all do not really want him there. But to keep their jobs, to keep their careers, they don't care.
How much more success do these people need? How much more money do they need? How much more power do they need? What are they accumulating it for? Do they ever ask themselves these questions? I mean, Sununu just pulled his dignity out of his pants and held it up to Trump and said, "Here, have lunch." He didn't have to do that. He didn't have to make that appearance.
He's running for 2028. He's already setting himself up. If you go back and watch that interview from that perspective.
So just to sum up, you would support him for president even if he's convicted in classified documents. You support him for president even though you believe he contributed to an insurrection. You support him for president even though you believe he's lying about the last election. You'd support him for president even if he's convicted in the Manhattan case. I just want to say the answer to that is yes, correct?
Yeah, me and 51% of America.
It completely falls in line.
And by the way, you're articulating it way better than he did. He just sounded like a monkey on a stoop trying to make this argument.
Well, that's because he was dodging and weaving, right? Stephanopoulos did a great job of holding him to the fire. He kept after him with the question, but everything he said, everything points to a 2028 run, or he's kissing Trump's ass to be VP.
You know, if he's running for 2028, it doesn't matter, because if Trump's base isn't behind him, it won't matter. And Trump doesn't forgive and forget. And so I'm just trying to figure out, what are these people thinking? The man has shown you who he is and what he does. And he's shown you how he treats people. He's shown you how he discards people. So I don't understand why they think that they are different. So I think we still have to really be very strategic. We have to keep on thinking and figuring it out. And when we figure out how to break through family and friends, then that's the strategy that we use to ensure that this man never sees public life again.